right now, astrologically, we have 7 planets in Pisces. Rarely happens. Rarely happens. And Pisces is a psychic sign. And the times right now on this earth are really bad as far as obviously the political stuff, energetically, certain things going on earth-wise. So it's a rough time right now. And these 7 planets in Pisces, like, oh, it's going to force people to go within. It's going to force people, and this is a time that ill souls have chosen to be here at this moment. It's going to force them to open up, to wake up. And so many times people talk on this side about how the people on the earth are just sleepwalking. They're all just sleepwalking. So anyway, that's what happens. You become more aware.
The purpose of the veil, I mean, it's interesting. It seems like when I'm talking to you right now that the soul carries its own memories between lifetimes.
Yeah.
But then we have a human incarnation and a human experience and human memories. There seems to be some correlation between the two, but not a strict correlation. How does that sort of work? And I mean, the veil of forgetfulness, as they call it, or as you've alluded to there as
Valley of
well.
forgetfulness. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Like in terms of,
So imagine the soul comes back with a clean slate, right? So you're going back to learn these different lessons. If you came back with a partisan way of looking at something and you couldn't be objective, you'd be open to doing things that way. So a good example of this, let's say you had a past life where you massacred people and you come back onto this earthly plane and you remembered that would affect your life and you would make choices and do things to either solve that or that would take up your mind, your time, because maybe you want to resolve certain things. So what happens is we come back to this earth, it's a clean slate. We go through that valley of forgetfulness. And it's really, I would say, a gift from God, or it's a grace from God, because it gives us a new chance to do things differently, and really get to know, if we will go know our soul self, then the memories come back. And not vivid, but you might know, well, there's a lifetime where I probably murdered someone, or there's a lifetime I wasn't honest, or a lifetime was so, and it won't be hitting over the head, but it's almost like a soul condition, a memory of a certain condition that maybe you've come back in this particular space and time to learn those lessons about something. Maybe it's patience, maybe it's compassion, maybe forgiveness, whatever those lessons are, self-love. Big one. So maybe we've come back for those things. And if we didn't have that clean slate, we wouldn't be able to carry off the courses, if you will.
you just mentioned that souls choose to be here. Do, in your awareness, souls also choose when they leave?
Good question. I believe that there are what we call destiny points. So before we come back into this incarnation, we sit with our guides and teachers and counsel, if you will, and we go over our soul's learning, the lessons, the development it needs to go through in order for it to grow. And by the way, not only do we go for the growth of our own soul, but our soul group and everybody. We're all connected. So there's a really connection for everyone. So one can just do the best they can do. So I think that we tend to have these destiny points or lessons we have to learn. They're destined to learn certain things. I do believe that the time you come in and the time you leave the body are predestined. I do believe that. I think that there are destiny points, but then again, we have free will. So maybe our destiny is to die at 86, but yet we go to a club or a bar and we drink, we get in a car and we have a crash and we die. That was our free will, our choice to drink like that. We had that free will. We didn't have to. So those things do come into play. So, and weird things happen too, by the way. Let's say certain cancers or certain ways people pass. It's like, was that destined, or were the conditions of the life such that that was the result? So it's kind of a grayish area when you think of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, facing the mystery
But the
really,
most
really.
important thing to remember that, Amrit, is that there's no death. There's no death. So there's no finalization. There's no limit. So you're just slipping out of the body. And that's really what it's about, slipping out of the body. Bruce Springsteen wrote the Philadelphia Story years ago with Tom Hanks, and the song Philadelphia Story. There's a lyric, and I love, it's just slipping out of the body. I'm like, that's exactly the description that they would say. And I was trying to think for years, how could I put this through to people that get the sense of it? And when he said, like, it is a slipping out. It's an easy transition. It's not painful. The painful part is leading up to it. If someone has a really strong illness, like a cancer or something really debilitates them, when they're in pain, that's pretty bad because that's the physical part. But when they leave the body, It's painless. And like, dying was nothing. It was leading up to it. That was the hard part.
I think a lot of people have a fear of the unknown that comes with the other side.
That's right. Exactly right. Fear is of the human dimension. Fear doesn't exist in other spaces and dimensions and fields. It doesn't exist. Only of the human. And fear, to me, I love the FEAR, false ego appearing real. Heard that? And it's really getting about that human part of us. So to me, it's like we got to push through that limited condition, that limited consciousness, and go to a higher consciousness. Almost like you want to shine a light. It's almost like stepping into a stadium, and all of a sudden, all the lights going on in the field. Like, wow, I conceived it now. I'm out of the darkness. There's something about that. There's something about limitation and something about growth and expansion. This is really important. And I think also, I was teaching class on this earlier, and we talked about curiosity, always having a sense of curiosity. And we grow and learn and expand by having that curious mind, being able to grow that way, because it'll push us to question things and look for answers. Not that we have all the answers. There's certain things we don't. And some answers are really embedded in the soul fabric. That's where we'll find the answers. And some maybe we're not allowed to know till we go over to the other side, to pass out of the human experience. But it's all about love or fear. So we talk about fear. Life to me is a series of choices. And from the very beginning of we're coming to this earth and coming out and into the earth, it's choices. So maybe, I don't know, what were your favorite subjects in school, or what school you went to, or what you chose to learn, which other business to go into, whatever it might be. We all had choices. And choices are based on two things, either love or fear. And love is our true essence. It's who we really are. It's the soul's essence. It's the soul's blood. Fear is a condition that the humans have created in this human vibration. But it can motivate us in certain ways, but it also can hold us back. And because then you start getting into conditioning and judgment. And judgment is total fear-based. That's what judgment is. We judge another person because we want to feel better than. So we put them down, we'll feel better. So it's just crazy because, it's all there is love. And we got to realize that when you're here, that you have souls of all different awarenesses, like we talked about. There might be some souls that are connected with addiction. There might be some souls that rob banks or rob people, whatever it might be. Then you'll have these wonderful healers and maybe writers, composers, whatever it might be. But you have to realize, before we judge someone else, we got to stop back and say, wait a minute. I don't know their experiences. I don't know what's gone on in their childhood, where they've come from, what they've tried to survive. So how can I judge another person if I haven't met their experiences? So the best thing we can do is honor where they're at and don't judge them, because we're really judging ourselves, but honor their experiences. And sometimes, sometimes I'll hear in my head, don't judge, James. They don't know any better. And it reminds me of the old Christian thing, the three crosses, when Jesus died the cross, supposedly, and the two other beggars or robbers were there, and supposedly in the Bible said, looked up to the sky and said, Father, forgive them. They do not know what they do. And there's some truth in that them souls are baby souls. They don't have the awareness that this isn't the right thing to do. This is wrong. They don't have that. They're just going through experiences. And then there are the souls who agreed to go through the experiences with them, for whatever their growth, the other soul's growth. So it's an interesting tapestry, if you will.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.